Hello students, second part of 15th chapter, Framing the Constitution. We are discussing about how the constitution that we have today in India, how it came into being, and what were the discussions, what were the problems, what were the difficulties that were faced by the Constituent Assembly. And we will discuss that for the ideals, for the objectives for which the Indian people fought for a long time against the colonial rule, whether they got those ideals, whether they received all that social justice and equality and freedom that they expected and that for which they fought against the colonial rule, and whatever grievances were there among the Indian people, whether they were fulfilled, whether they were seen or not in the constitution, we are discussing all these things. So framing of the constitution was not an easy task, because at that time there were many problems faced not only by India but all over the world. Second World War was very drastic, and after that immediately the process began from 1946 December. I told you, from 1946, 1 year before the independence, the process began, and means the previous year of the independence, the process began, and these were the proceedings, these were the things that we are discussing before the real constitution on 26 January 1950 that came before us. So we will discuss today about the Constituent Assembly. There is lots of confusion among you people that there was election for the Constituent Assembly. There were popular election like we have a universal adult franchise. No, not at all. The Constituent Assembly in 1945-46 was not elected through universal adult franchise or any other election method. Actually, there were provincial elections at that time, elections of the provinces, in which I told you Indians were also allowed to participate, and in the provincial legislatures people chose people who were in the provincial elections and who were elected, and when they were sitting in the legislatures they chose the people as members of the Constituent Assembly. And I told you at that time there were two main political parties, the Congress and the Muslim League, and actually the dominant group was, the dominant party was Congress, because Congress swept most of the provincial election, most of the seats in the provincial legislatures. It was swept by the Congress. So most of the people, most of the members in the assembly were from Congress party, and Muslim League, they were on their own. First of all, they had a suspicion that the Constituent Assembly is not autonomous. Again, they were stick to their demand of Pakistan, and they were also stick to their demand of how Pakistan will be formed and how we will get our rights. Correct, students? Then there was another group about which I have told you when I was giving lecture on Gandhian era, that there was formation of socialist groups, and in 1925 the Communist Party was formed in India. So there were many socialist groups in India. They had a suspicion about the Constituent Assembly that perhaps this assembly, because see the year 1945-46, Britishers were there in our country. So they had a suspicion that perhaps it is dominated by Englishmen, it is dominated by British officials. So they had this suspicion that what our philosophy will mean for them, because they were strongly capitalist. Then there were communal parties also. There were so many communal groups in India at that time, and they were also expecting that the Constituent Assembly would do something for them also, for their rights also. So there were communal parties also. So this was the scenario. This was the scene at that time. Must be very complex. You are thinking that's very complex, it is very complicated. Yes, it was very complicated. And think of it that when they sat in a hall, when they were sitting in a room or in a hall for meeting, what happened? That everybody used to speak out. Everybody was there to demand for their rights. But even Congress members did not sit quiet. They were not quiet in the assembly, they were not quiet in the meetings, but they also had their own views. They also put forward their own views about India, about India's constitution in future. Then students, there was another demand of the minority groups. There were demands for the languages. There were linguistic minorities. At that time, there were so many languages spoken in India, and apart from languages, there were so many dialects. Languages spoken by many people, dialects, a particular community, dialect. So they were demanding for their rights, because otherwise they would go in minority, linguistic minority. And how can we forget a very important part of the Indian society at that time, which was depressed? And all the so-called high caste people, they didn't consider them anything. Yes, so-called Dalits, they had in their mind about their cultural rights, because there was a question mark in their minds that what will happen to us, because for a very long time, for the last many years, they were facing oppression. Correct? And not only oppression by the Indians, by the different sections of the Indian society, but also by the others who were Europeans. So there were demand for the cultural rights. They had a suspicion in their mind that what will happen to our cultural rights. And they were also concerned about their social justice. Social justice means in the society, they should get justice. There should be equality. And that is why, students, you remember that in our constitution, the preamble says that there will be freedom, equality to all. No discrimination between the people. So these were the, like this it was going on. Very interesting scenario. We can recall in our memories that what was happening at that time. Correct? So like this, the Constituent Assembly came into being. There were about 300 members in this assembly. 300 total members. And 6 people played a very important role, very positive role in it. 6 members. And there was a trio in the Congress, trio, 3-T-R-I-O. There was a trio in the Congress. In this trio, first of all, there was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He put forward his objectives resolution, about which we will study in detail in the preceding chapter. The objectives resolutions. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was of the view that people should be involved. There should be plebiscite. People should be involved. Referendum should be there. The issue should be put before the public. And he was also, in your source-based question, it is given in NCERT, you can go through that. He was reminding the people about the French Revolution, that how French Revolution occurred, the revolutionaries met in the tennis court, and then how they planned the revolution. And before that, he also mentioned the American War of Independence, although America was the colony of Britishers, and even then how they were organized and how they fought for their rights, how they fought for their independence. So these examples, these things were told to the people by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and he was playing this role. Among the trio, the second one was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. I told you yesterday that he was in charge of the state ministries in India at that time. So Patel was not only facing the problem of princely states, about which I told you in my previous lecture, the princely state, the Nawabs, the rulers, the Rajas. Okay, so they were there, and some of them didn't want to either join India or Pakistan if there is a partition. So there was problem of these Rajas and the Nawabs and Nizams were there at that time. And the role of the Patel was issuing the reports, different reports after studying the scenario, after studying the situation, submitting the reports and reports on the opposing ideas, conflicting ideas, discrimination, differences between the people. All these reports were being prepared by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. A very constructive role was played by him during this time. And in the trio, the third one, we cannot forget him, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. He was actually the president of the assembly at that time. Very educated, had a very great respect for the teachers also, because himself he was very educated. So this Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the president of the assembly at that time, he was of the view that all the people should have a chance to speak, and in the assembly also all the members should have a chance to speak. So he was working on this. So this trio was there. Apart from this trio, how can we forget Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was leading the, previously he was not in favor of, he was a political opponent of Congress previously, political opponent of the Congress. He didn't like Congress. But later, according to Mahatma Gandhi, later Mahatma Gandhi told him to play a positive role in the national movement of India and to be the union minister, the minister of law in the union ministry, B.R. Ambedkar. And he also played a very important role by speaking out, by supporting the rights of the so-called Dalits at that time. Then there were two more lawyers with him, with B.R. Ambedkar. It was K.M. Munshi and Aladi Krishna Swamy Iyer. They were the two lawyers with him. And then there were two civil servants also, because civil servants are very educated and they can understand all the aspects of, because making of the constitution was a very tedious task. So there was B.N. Rao. He was the constitutional advisor, very well educated personality. And there was a chief draughtsman, that is, you are very well aware about this name, that is S.N. Mukherjee. So these people played a very important role. It was a bulky, 11 bulky volumes were there. 11 bulky means very thick, bulky volumes of constitution were there. And finally the constitution was prepared, and then it was applied on 26th January 1950. And the procedure began from 13 December 1946. And finally the Constituent Assembly came into being, and they worked on it. As I told you yesterday, they visited different areas, they visited different countries of the world, and then picked up all the good things that were suitable for a country like India. Tomorrow we will proceed this topic. We will talk about it further, that what was the constitution and how the different sections of the Indian society were reconciled, and they were tried to be satisfied, because everybody, I told you, was expecting something or the other from the Constituent Assembly. So go through all these topics, students, prepare your notes, and we will meet again in the next lecture. Thank you very much.